cold one today. I got out of work a few minutes early and decided to head down to the riverfront. I'm actually walking back to the train bridge for another go at this scene, and I'm gonna try to walk backwards here. You can see already starting to get some light, some color in the clouds. Don't have a whole lot of time left here before sunset, but I'm gonna get what I can. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so got here just in time, it looks like. Sun's setting right behind me. Got the camera set up on the tripod, testing out two things at the moment. One is a new wireless remote trigger, which is really nice. And I'm also using my ND16 filter so I can try again at a really long exposure. In this case, I calculated it out to about 7 minutes. Actually, that's not true. 9 minutes and 6 seconds. So that's what we're going for. So I'll turn around, let you get a peek at what the scene looks like. But the clouds are moving a little bit, so hopefully that stretches them out. And as the sun goes down, which is just about setting, I hope we start to get some color to filter in there as well. And if there's enough time, I'm going to do it again. The trouble with trying to do this at this time of day is that with my particular camera, I have to have the long exposure noise reduction on, otherwise it looks like total junk. So that's going to turn a 9-minute exposure into 18 minutes because it takes basically a double exposure. But one of the cool things that's going on here, I'm going to again try and flip this camera around and just show you what the ice looks like, and maybe you can even hear what's going on. Give me just a second. Oh no. In the process of turning the camera around, I accidentally hit my shutter release. So I just ruined that shot. So that's going to be 2 more minutes of waiting to even try and get that shot. This may have just screwed that up. But here is, Mississippi River all covered in ice, and there's a little section of flowing water right out there, and as that's moving, you can kind of hear the water bouncing up and down on the bottom of the ice, and then also these kind of ripples here along the shoreline are where the ice has been pushed over and cracked and buckling. Really kind of neat. Well, I screwed that up. I screwed up pretty much every aspect of this trip from the very beginning. From the very beginning, I screwed this up. And I'm so frustrated about it because it is 100% my fault. Every aspect. And it was all preventable if I took just a little bit of time and effort to do things right. For starters, I left too late. I got home early enough, about 3:30ish. There's plenty of time to get my stuff, get down here, get set up. But by the time I got here, most of the light was gone. You know, I showed you briefly what it looked like when I arrived, and had some nice golden hour color in the clouds. By the time I got down to the riverfront, it was gone. So that was screw up number one, but it really started even before that. Nothing was charged. My camera battery was half dead. Luckily it lasted through a couple of pictures, but my gimbal battery's dead. It didn't even make the hike from the car to the riverfront. Didn't plug in my mic, so who knows what this sounds like. Camera's all shaky. This is some top quality work right here. Hopefully it will all be redeemed by a couple of good pictures. But at this point I'm not holding my breath. I did get to find out that my new wireless shutter release is really nice. Really nice. That was a great Christmas present. I love it. But I found out that the shutter release is pretty sensitive. Like I said before, I accidentally tripped the release and stopped my long exposure too soon. But it was nice to get to use it. Worked like a charm. I think all the frustrations I had with the wired version should be over. I'm back at the car now, so let me get this stuff in there and then I'll pick this up in the car. Man, it's cold out there. It says 17 on the dash, but I think my wife said it was a real feel of -4. I believe it. Glasses are fogged up, I can hardly see, but I'm sitting here just trying to get warmed up real quick and deciding if I want to maybe make another stop over at the other set of bridges, see if I can redeem this trip, or if I should just call it quits, go home, get warm. But I did manage to get 2 sets of pictures off. The first one I did was a bracketed set, and I also going to focus stack that because I focused on the ice ripples in the foreground, the first set, and then the second set of brackets I got focused back on the train bridge. So see what that looks like in a few minutes. And then I did manage to get one full-blown long exposure. So somebody drove behind me, kind of threw me off. Didn't expect to see anybody out here at this time, but the second long exposure, I ruined by accidentally hitting the shutter button, but I did get an additional one off. It was 9 minutes 6 seconds, plus an additional 9 minutes for the noise reduction. So we'll see what that looks like. It looks pretty decent on the camera. Got a little bit of vignetting on the corners because I didn't adjust my focus ring appropriately for the added thickness of the bezel of the filter. I was using a 16 stop neutral density filter, so that's how I was able to get that longer exposure. And actually, with my initial calculations, it was going to end up being a 32-minute exposure, which would have put you at an hour with the double for the noise reduction. But I did what I usually try not to do, which is upped my ISO, opened up my aperture a little bit. I had some room to work with there because I initially set up at f11, dropped that to f8 so could let a little bit more light in, and then I bumped from ISO 100 to 200, and that dropped me from a 32-minute exposure down to a 9-minute exposure. So like I said, the clouds were moving pretty good, so there should be some nice stretched clouds in the sky. Should look nice. I think that'll be a good contrast against the frozen river, which is nice and flat and calm, obviously, because it's ice. So we'll see. I'm gonna go drive by the bridge downtown, see what that looks like, see if I want to get back out in this cold and try another set, or if I should just give up. So we'll see how that goes. If not, I'll talk to you later.